Welcome to part 1 of our Rushing Rose run through the Shadows of Rose DLC for Resident Evil The Village. As this is a speedrun achievement that we're trying to get, we're going to skip all of the cutscenes. I'll try to let you fill you in on what the cutscenes say as we go along. Hopefully I won't forget any of them. You start off with a scene that troubled 16-year-old Rose is wanting to get rid of her powers that make her unique and different, and also cause her a lot of problems with her classmates in the normal school zone. Her friend, Kay, has suggested that she might be able to find some information by mind melding, for lack of a better term, with the megamycete chunk that they have in a lab. That this will let her, in his words, walk through the memories of people that have been connected with the megamycete, that everybody that has died previously in close proximity to or associated with the megamycete has left their memories in here, and that Miranda's notes and research should all be in here somewhere.
What is this?
And that through their research they found that there's some sort of purifying crystal, that if she finds the purifying crystal she can remove the powers, the mold influence that she has. So she starts off in this kind of weird area that's reminiscent of Castle Dimitrescu down in the basement. It doesn't seem to actually have the format of any of the rooms you went through there. She's confused, doesn't really know where she is, because of course she has no memory of Castle Dimitrescu. That was all Ethan in the main game. But so at this point she's just kind of running around, looking around, trying to figure out what's what. She went by a cell door that if you walk up to a cell door, you'll have a conversation. There's somebody in there, and she says she's going to go get a key to help them get free. So she's down here, she finds the key. Now she's going to go back and unlock that door. Inside that door, she's going to find that there are doppelgangers of her. Plays a major kind of plot point that Rose is considered a quote-unquote rabbit. There's a bunch of copies of Rose running around, and they're trying to find a worthy rabbit, a candidate, that would be a suitable host for Miranda's daughter. And they've gotten the actual Rose here now, and so she's starting off this very confused that there are other copies of her at all. And so far she's only found this one copy of her. You're supposed to be following her. I make a mistake here because I forget that we aren't to the cells yet. And so I go back. Confused, I go back to where the key was again, thinking I forgot all about the fact that I needed to help her move her body so that we could crawl through a hole. So if you're using this as an example for your speedrun, don't do that. Instead, just follow her straight over to here. Move the body, and you'll be able to crawl through that hole. The cutscene just shows her going through the hole. As you follow her this time, you're going to come upon a large room of cells. And each of those cells is holding another copy of Rose. You don't need to look at anything. You don't need to do anything in there right now. Just go and get what is essentially the handle or a lever for a big switch that's in the corner that will open the cells. You can get the handle without having to know that that's what you're looking for. So you'll notice through the run that sometimes I struggle with the getting her to duck. That has to do with specifically with me and speedruns. When I try to duck in a speedrun where I'm trying to run all the time, you can't run and duck at the same time in the game. So I do what I call the duck dance, up and down a lot. Or I just stand there looking dumb like I can't figure out how to get down. That jump scare gets me almost every time. This time I was talking through it, so maybe I distracted you and you didn't get caught by it. Or distracting you got you caught by it. You hear your protagonist, your doppelganger, screaming. As you come in the room, you see, for the first time, you see an actual hunter, and he's basically sucking the life force out of your doppelganger, your copy. You can ignore that. Just run over and put the lever in. He will always be on the other side of those barrels and boxes. Just keep those barrels and boxes between you and him. For this playthrough, we're on casual. There's no particular reason to try to use a higher difficulty for a speedrun. Speedruns are the quintessential reason for casual mode, in my opinion. So, she runs into the room here that should be familiar to you if you played the main game. She was basically trapped in a dead end. She was about to be eaten when a glowing force opened the door behind her and she fell through. That same glowing is now saying, come over here. It's moved the barrels out of her way. It's going to tell her to go up the stairs in this next room. As she runs up here, this should be feeling very familiar, like Castle Dimitrescu, but you'll see it's not exactly right, because this would have led to, well, not this area, I don't think. Come out in the rooms where Ethan was first taken by the daughters of Lady Dimitrescu. You come through the fireplace instead of leaving through the fireplace. But in any case, she's going to come running down the hallway. Come in this area. Remember, she's looking for a purifying crystal. She finds a purifying crystal there, but there's a masked Duke, and he starts them hunting her, calling her a rabbit. You need to just run. If you're quick with this, none of these things will form and get in your way. You can just run around everything. If you're not quick with it, that can get sporty and dicey. So hopefully you know where you're going. You have to go out there far enough to trigger that gate. Otherwise, this cutscene won't trigger. Once you've triggered that, basically, who she's calling Michael now as her guardian angel, who's actually Ethan, provides her with a gun. It's a Lemi, if you remember from the main game. There's the first time, since we cut all the cutscenes, this is the first time you're getting to see the crystal in this video. It's trapped on a statue that needs 3 masks. So she heads off in search of the masks. Don't need to bother touching this door. It's locked with a chain, but you can save yourself some time by not having to do that. But you're going to get bolt cutters to open that door. Bolt cutters are through the kitchen to the pantry area. On casual mode, the Lemi is actually a reasonably effective weapon for those little guys. And we go through the optional branches to go ahead and upgrade it completely. I'll point those out as we get to them. I also stop and, while I'm not going to read any files and we're going to skip all the cutscenes, I do go to these conversations, primarily because they give her resources. It does take a little time.
So, I'm on my own?
We had some time to spare, so getting a little extra handgun ammo is a good thing. But if you're really, really trying to push your time, you can probably avoid those. I just wanted the achievement. I didn't want to set any world records, or didn't feel like I could, or was likely to. So. Cutscene there, she sees the first mask is covered in that goo, and Michael tells her that if she goes through here, she can find a way to get rid of that goo. So she's headed in this direction. This is eventually going to lead her up to the attic. But first she has to go through this room. On casual mode, you have the resources and the ammunition to dispatch these guys and clear out the room. The nice thing about clearing out the room is then you don't have to worry about it when you come back through. But don't don't attempt that on anything other than casual. Trying to kill them, you might be able to do it on standard, but certainly on hardcore, trying to kill them is just going to suck away all your ammo. You mostly need to find a way to get them to aid an attack and dodge around them on hardcore. If you're missing the storyline, or if you're wanting to see it played on hardcore, we do have a hardcore playthrough. You can go to our channel and go in the playlist. There's a playlist for the Shadows of Rose hardcore runs. It takes a little bit longer, obviously, than a speed run, but it does go through all. It touches every file, it has every conversation that you can have, and it leaves in all of the cutscenes, so you get the entire story that way. This way, you're missing most of the storyline, but if you know the story, then you're getting all the action. Presumably, you're here to figure out some area of the game where you could have cut time. I'm not the world's best speedrunner, but you should be able to match my skill levels there. Don't go down there and look for anything on the table, because obviously there wasn't anything there, so that was a waste of time. In here, you're going to get the first Rosemary Winter's Variant Flask.
Alright.
RW Variant Flask, number 1. And you see now you have this icon down in the bottom where it used to just kind of give you your ammo if you had your gun open. Now you have this little icon with little like dots going around what looks like roots. This gives you this power. The cutscene and the documents in there kind of explain that this will allow you to dissolve these nodes, these, I don't know what to call them. There's a word for it, but I can't pronounce it. I'll just call them mold cores. It allows you to dissolve more mold cores, and that dissolves areas of the mold. Break your ankles. Take no damage by dropping 4 or 5 floors. There's going to be one more guy coming back through here. Now the ladder is not accessible to you. Clear it again. And there's going to be a guy that wants to come through this door. In casual, we'll just dispatch you. On hardcore, you want to bait him back into the back part of the room and run around. Not particularly great shooting, but yeah, effective enough. This is optional. You don't have to do this. However, it upgrades your gun, so to me it's worth it. If you're truly trying to shave tenths of seconds off, you probably don't need to do this. The game clock does not pause while you're in your inventory. The pause menu will. I'm going to, at this point, go ahead and collect resources. So you will see me get rid of these mold cores. Clearly not necessary. If you can find a way where you only get the resources you need instead of overfilling. On hardcore, you can't just go there. There will be a guy in that corner. But on casual, the room's kind of open. If you get rid of that core from that direction, then you can go around and just kind of avoid the whole mess this way. Sort of. You can usually dodge around those guys without any issue. I missed my turn. So now we're headed back down to the courtyard where the first mask was. He's got other things to do. He's not interested in you at this point. I do collect those things, the resources from those things, but I don't think I go out of my way to find extra ones. You do want to get rid of this. This is not a waste of time. You're going to want that thing to not be there next time you want to go through there, so it's a good thing. I'm going to pick up the first mask here.
I finally got it.
I've broken broken our gameplay down into 4 parts. This first part is going to take us a little farther than the first mask. It's going to get us to the second flask, at least. And once again, in the conversation with Michael, get more
None
resources.
of this was supposed to happen. No. The reason I came here hasn't changed. I need that crystal. Thank you.
In this particular case, it turned out to be a first aid. So that really could have been skipped. You're not going to need the first aid, really. But, you know, you're going to feel better with it on, I guess. She puts the first mask in, lights up a little blue flame above that statue's head. And at this point, you need to find the Monocular Key. Monocular Keys sort of up here in Lady Dimitrescu's dressing rooms. This is out of your way. You don't need to do this. You certainly don't need to get rid of this. Just have a set pattern of what I do in the game, I guess. So I'm over here picking up resources. There'll be a guy that's kind of tricky. He's not a problem on casual. On hardcore, there's going to be some problems. I'm using a game controller, a Logitech gamepad, so my aiming is not PC precision. I'm not using a precision mouse. Just for whatever reason, like playing the games with gamepads. This, the big guy that you saw carrying the mace that wasn't interested in you before is now interested in you. So you've now become an official target. The only way to go is follow Michael's lead, follow Ethan's direction to get over here. I thought I had to read that file, but you don't really. You just have to get back here to get that words to come. You're too weak. Well, if you don't get the words, you're too weak to come up, then you won't open this fireplace for you. So you do have to run back and forth a little bit. Here you're going to get the second Rosemary Winter's variant Flask. There's some other resources. This second flask has given you little balls over here on your root system, and you can use them to pause enemies. On casual, I think the fastest way through it is to just shoot him a few times and go by. On hardcore, you want to just bait him into the room and dodge around that pole and go out that way. These little silver leaf resources allow you to replenish the number of balls that you have. On any difficulty here, you're going to need to use that to pause both of them. If they pause like that, you can get through, get your key. I happen to hit the document instead of the keys. I want those handgun ammo, so I grab that up and get back out. If you were fast enough and timed that well enough, these guys will be in a mode where they're just lost and you can wander by them. There's a guy in this hallway. I like to go by him and then shoot back. Because the other guys are going to come into the room from... Don't back up into the goop. I almost back up into the goop. Only one of them will come back through. That'll give you time to get rid of this. On hardcore, that gets really, really dicey. You don't have the ammunition with your weak handgun to kill even two of them. So your best bet is to use one of your blocking balls to pause them, and when you do, then use that time to get rid of the mold core. You're likely to get chewed on at least once there. This is completely optional on a speed run, but in here there is a part for your Lemi handgun. It will make it more powerful. you have time. Like I said, if you're not trying to set records or trying to go as fast as you possibly can, then you have time to do this. But if you're trying, if you feel you're pushed on time, you feel you won't be able to get through the game on time, then by all means skip getting these resources and skip upgrading your gun. I'm going to do another optional part here, which is I'm going to go have another conversation with Ethan. You don't need to do this either. And this is actually kind of a long run for very little. I don't know why I decided to do it. Just I have a pattern to how I play the game, and I wasn't sure how much resources. I couldn't remember exactly how much resources were dropped in every case, in every conversation you have. I know that you get a health thing, you're going to get some ammo.
I'm fine, but what about you?
Here, so.
Is that why your words are fading? Try not to overdo it then.
I mean, really, that those few rounds are probably not worth the time, but we still get through it and get the achievement. So, all right, now we're headed off to use the Monocular Key to enter the next part of the castle, where we will get the second mask. I'm going to cut this part of the playthrough right at the point where we're entering the door. And we'll see you in part 2 of our run through. Should be out in just a couple of days.